There was once someone who did such amazing things and said such wonderful things that people had to ask who he really was. Once when they asked, he said, "I am the light." I see the love of God in you, the light of Christ comes shining through, and I am blessed to be with you, O holy child of God. The one that said, "I am the light," changed to be in all places at all times. See this light? How it's just in one place? Let's change the light. Look, the light's changed. It's growing. It's getting bigger. It's becoming invisible. It's filling the room with the light of Christ. As you go about this room today, know that the light is there. And when you leave this room today, know that you take the light of Christ with you wherever you go. Now watch carefully so you always know what today's lesson looks like. We're going to need our piece of the desert. Of course, the real desert is much too large, but we have a piece of it in our classroom today. But that's not it. I'm not done. Here it is, our lesson. This is Jerusalem. And here is the wall. This was the city of David, the city of the people of God. Here is Haran. And here is Babylon. Sometimes the people of God forget who they are. They hide from God and pretend that God isn't there. Sometimes they even worship other gods. There are also people who come so close to God, and God comes so close to them that they know what God wants them to say or do. These people are called prophets. They know the best way. Both men and women are prophets, so both boys and girls can grow up to be a prophet. After King Solomon died, his kingdom was divided into two parts. A prophet named Ahijah showed that God knew that this was the best way. He took his new cloak and cut it into 12 pieces. 10 pieces were for the tribes that were around the city of Samaria, the capital of the northern kingdom. And 2 pieces were for the tribes around Jerusalem, the capital of the southern kingdom. Some prophets, like Elijah and Elisha, left none of their words. They were either lost or never written down. Others wrote down what God told them to say, and some of their friends wrote down their words. I want to show you something. There. The ones who left their words for us. The words are on 4 scrolls. Here are 4 small scrolls to help us to remember. This is very interesting. It has the writings of 12 prophets on it. This one is called Isaiah, but it really has the writings of 3 Isaiahs on it. This one is all the words of Ezekiel, and the other one is the words of Jeremiah. Now let's see what happened. Here is the southern kingdom. A prophet who spoke to them in Amos. I will put the scroll of the 12 prophets here to remind you. Now let me read you something from this scroll. I despise your feasts, and I take no delight in your solemn assemblies. Take away from me the noise of your songs. To the melody of your harps I will not listen. But let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Amos spoke for God to the priests and to the king. This is what all prophets did. Now here are the names of the prophets on the scroll. Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Abakapak, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. One day, the southern kingdom was conquered by Assyria. The Assyrians surrounded Jerusalem, and the people were afraid, but the Assyrians went away. Isaiah of Jerusalem said that the kingdom would fall, but that a remnant, a few of the people, would be saved. It was not the Assyrians, but the Babylonians who took the city, and they took many of the people into exile. The second Isaiah must have been one of these people who was taken, as he wrote his words in Babylon. He said there would be a highway made straight in the desert, that they would go home one day. He was hopeful. The third Isaiah was the one who went back to Jerusalem, the people that were not really glad to see him and the others who returned. The city was still broken. Many of the walls were still black from the fires of the Babylonians had set. And this Isaiah helped the people and the priests get ready for a time when they would not have their own king. Jeremiah stayed in Jerusalem. He said that the city would fall, but that the people of Jerusalem would not understand what he was talking about. Finally, when the Babylonians came, he and Braca, his scribe from the Egypt, with some others, would be safe. But he was very sad. Ezekiel wrote in Babylon. He was taken away with one of the first groups, even before Jerusalem was torn down. He was a prophet in his new home. He told the people in exile that Jerusalem would be destroyed and that they would not go home soon. After Jerusalem was destroyed, he had visions of hope that they would go home again. They would be like dry bones in the valley, that they put themselves back together again, turned into people, and walked to their old home. These are most of the prophets in the Old Testament. We know a lot about them because their words are written down a long time ago. Today, there are still prophets. They speak to the rulers, to the priests, ministers, and rabbis, and to the people. They still say and do what God wants them to. They help all of us know the true way to live and die. Prophets come in all kinds of places and in all kinds of people, just like you. So some of you in this circle may be or become prophets. I wonder, which is the most important prophet? I wonder if you know any prophets. Do any prophets know you? I wonder if this is all the prophets that we need. I wonder, will you think of this story today? Or maybe another story. But whatever you do today, know that you take the light of Christ with you wherever you go.